Hey everybody, this is Darren and you're watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies. And today I want to tell you all about a little film you can currently watch on Netflix called Bad Day for the Cut. Now, Bad Day for the Cut is a film from Ireland that is just a really fantastic revenge flick. It came out in, I believe, 2016, so it's fairly new. It's one of the newer movies you can watch on Netflix that you probably have not seen. It's really flown under the radar. Now, this one in particular is pretty brutal. Now, there are worse ones. This one is not really that heavy, but it's not for the faint of heart. And I'm going to talk about a couple others on some other platforms that I really like as well, just some quick recommendations. The thing I really enjoyed about this one is it's a fairly straightforward genre flick. It goes places you sort of expect it to, but along the way, it does things that you completely do not expect. So I wouldn't really call them twists, like a big twist, but there's little kinks and twists in the way this entire scenario plays out that are just really interesting. Like you just don't see them coming. And I'm not talking about like one little thing that's kind of a surprise. I'm talking about something that completely turns around and changes the progression of the entire story. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this movie. But that said, I'll tell you what it's about. Basically, it's about a farmer in Ireland. I don't know that we ever get his age, but he appears to be in his maybe mid to late 50s. And he has a mother who obviously she's 20 some odd years older than him. So she's in her 70s, very old, very frail. She is murdered sort of out of the blue. He doesn't know why. He comes home, there's been an intrusion, and she's murdered. That happens very early on. This guy loves his mother and decides to just take it upon himself to find out what happened. Now, he doesn't just necessarily just take up a shotgun because he is a farmer and start hunting people down. Basically, because he sort of witnessed somebody leaving the house. Again, this is very light spoilers. All this happens early on in the movie, but because he witnesses somebody, they then try to come kill him, and at that point is where he starts to kind of not only get information, but really start to go down this rabbit hole, not only to find out who killed his mother, but why. And the thing I really enjoyed about this movie is they really leave you guessing on the why for a lot of the movie, and then when it's revealed, I was really surprised. Now, I'm not going to give away what that is just yet. I will get into spoilers at the tail end of this video. All great performances for the most part. There's a couple of supporting roles that were just fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But as far as the main roles, all really good and really carried the story really well, where I was invested and I was interested, which is crucial for a revenge film. If you're not in it with the main character and you're not sort of thinking about like what you would do, how you would do things differently, would you still be pushing it that far, then you're probably not really into revenge movies. Revenge stories really do kind of tap into just a difficult to access part of the human psyche, I think. It's something we all sort of have in us. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of us certainly have sort of that instinct for revenge. Even when somebody like slights us just barely, we still want revenge to some respect. Now, a lot of us are able to hold back on that, but watching a movie like this really kind of, I don't know, it kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like those muscles in your brain kind of get a little bit of a workout. Not in a big way, but they sort of get stimulated where they wouldn't in your regular everyday life. Another film very similar to this in a lot of ways from Australia is called The Horseman. Now, this one is the one I mentioned early on. It's very brutal. This one disturbed me, and not in the sense that they're showing brains and guts and all that. It just felt very real. It was very raw. This one's available on Prime, by the way. That's why I'm talking about it. It was done in a way that was just really disturbing, and it almost feels voyeuristic, like you're watching something on a hidden camera. It's not particularly filmed that way, but man, and the guy just really goes at it really hard. He's got some really brutal ways of going after guys. Like it makes Taken look like A Day at the Beach. I mean, this one is rough. So tread lightly on that one. If you like the way I'm talking about it, you will probably love The Horseman. And then another one from the UK is called Dead Man's Shoes. Really good little revenge movie. Very, very similar. Something happens to a guy's brother. He goes after the guys that did it. He really sort of toys with them. It's very, very interesting. It is also very, very brutal, and it's really upsetting with what happens to the brother. That one's probably in between Bad Day for the Cut and The Horseman. So maybe watch Bad Day for the Cut. Try Dead Man's Shoes, which is currently available on Shudder. If you don't have Shudder, I've done a couple of videos sponsored by Shudder. I'll put links in the description below. But you can watch those videos. There'll be a link in those descriptions, and you can get a free 30-day trial. They do a lot of thriller and horror movies, so I recommend that. They have, like I said, they have sponsored videos. They did not sponsor this one. I'm just recommending this particular movie. And now for some spoilers. Like I said, the villain is really, really great in this one. For those of you that have seen it, the female lead is the villain. The thing that I thought was so great is not only did she have a really great performance, but you don't realize she's the villain at first. It seems like it's sort of her sort of main advisor guy. You think he's sort of the main bad guy. Even a couple, and they're on screen quite a bit. There's a couple of interactions, and it's not until the guy that's getting tortured in the van, the guy that's getting burned with the pot. I told you this was going to be spoiler heavy. It's not until he sort of gets nervous when he finds out she's on the phone, that she's in the room on the other end of the phone. That's what, all of a sudden you realize, oh shit, she's in charge. And then she really has sort of a tirade right after that and scares the other guy in the room. So I thought that really played out really well. And similar to that, the little twist that sort of like changes the outcome of the story is the guy that goes there to kill him that ends up helping him through the whole thing. I thought that was an interesting twist. Getting the sister out was a good twist. The iron, when he grabbed the iron, there's a scene where, if you remember, they're saving the sister from the hotel. There's the bodyguard waiting out in the other room. He grabs the iron. Like, she's like, how are we going to get out of here? And he just grabs the iron in the room. And I immediately think he's going to plug it in because he's already burned that other guy with the pot. And he doesn't. She calls for help. The guy comes in. He hits him with the iron. Well, when they determine that they need to get information out of him, the plug goes into the socket on the iron. So I thought that was really, really great. And again, really brutal. I mean, he's burning the guy's crotch with the iron. It's not comical, which can easily happen when you're burning a guy's crotch with an iron. It's a somewhat comical scenario, but the way the movie plays out, it's not funny, but it's also, it's over the top of denim. So it's not as brutal as it could have been had it been on his face or something. So it's brutal. It's a brutal act, but as far as it's not as visceral on film. So I thought that was a good way to go as well. And not just in that one instance. Like most of the movie sort of goes that way where it triggers, you know, that part of your brain where like, man, this is rough, but it's also not as visceral as something like The Horseman. Now, I also mentioned why the mother was killed. I really, really liked not knowing. It was such a mystery. It's like, why did this sex trafficking, you know, kingpin kill this seemingly sweet 80-year-old woman out at a farmhouse? Like, it makes no sense to the main character. He doesn't know why, and he can't get the information from anybody because nobody else, which you find out, none of the henchmen, nobody knew the story. Nobody knew the backstory. And then the fact that she not only had an affair with the villain's father, but like in a crime of passion murdered him. I thought that was a really, really fantastic twist. I bought it as a storyline. I bought that she would have picked up the clock and killed the mother, and it all made sense, and it sort of made it come full circle where the sins of his mother put them both down this path where they're on the beach and at least one of them is going to die by the end of it. I thought that was great. You know, I didn't love the fact that the kid had to die at the very, very end. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with a movie like this ending on a really low note, and that's basically what it did. But there's really nothing. The thing I didn't like about it is it's not like a punishment for his actions necessarily. Like there's not a decision that the main character made that could have changed that. Like he wanted to bring the 2 kids with him to kill this woman, and they decided they wanted to leave. The fact that he left them on the side of the road was irrelevant to the kid. Basically, the kid just shouldn't have gone back. He should have either gone with him or decided to leave with his sister. And the fact that he sort of flip-flopped and went back, decided to not go and then decided to go, is essentially what led to him getting killed. So again, I don't mind that it ended on that note, but it's sort of like the reason for it, there was no one thing somebody did necessarily that really caused that. It just sort of happened, which is okay. I mean, it's a minor gripe in an otherwise really fantastic film. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you've seen it if you're still listening to me. But if you like me doing really specific reviews on movies I really think you should watch, let me know in the comments below. I'm getting some good feedback on these. The views are not really there for me to keep these up, but I'm going to keep doing them for a little while and see how they go. I'm really kind of enjoying this aspect of the channel, but I will keep making videos like this one as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for watching this one, and you will see me next time.